It was a perfectly 2021 headline. Remember, things are less crazed in 2021 than 2020, only because media wants you to believe that to be true, and they're not reporting things with such frenetic movement. Without Trump, they honestly don't know what to do with themselves. But there's still a fair amount of madness out there. Tony Katz Today. It's a pleasure to be with you. As has been reported, the Arizona Department of Education creating what they're calling an equity toolkit that teaches parents how children as young as 3 months can develop racial bias, encouraging parents and teachers to talk to young children about race. Kira Davis joins us right now from Red State, redstate.com, and the podcast, Just Listen to Yourself. Be sure to catch that wherever fine podcasts are sold. They're serious about this kind of stuff. This is all part of the new age way of saying you are guilty for your existence. Everything is bigoted from square one, and there simply is no escape from it. We're not making the argument of whether or not racism exists. We're making the argument that it seems that the powers that be want you to start going after your kids when they're 3 months old.
Yeah, this is critical race theory, Tony. This is what this is. This is the end game for critical race theory, which is, again, it's not, as you just put it, it's really not to, quote, even the playing field or bring us equity. What it's meant to do is to shame an entire group of people for how they look. And I've been reading Robin DiAngelo's White Fragility. It's a slog to get through. I've been reading it for months because it's so awful. But she posits all these problems of that white people create, that these are all the problems of white America, but she has no solutions. Her only solutions, which I think are ironic considering that she's super famous now and makes a lot of money on this, her only solution is that white people just begin to retreat from any position of influence in society. So this is just another aspect of this. I mean, Tony, think about how crazy this argument is. They're saying babies are racist, dumb racist babies, because they start identifying with people who look like them at an early age. Who are the people who look like them? They're caregivers. If you're a black baby and your main caregiver is white, then when you see white faces, you're going to, as a baby, feel more affection towards them. Your biological instincts are going to make you identify this person as a caretaker. If you're a white baby and your main caretaker is an Asian people will be the ones that baby will cling to more, that baby will identify with more, feel more cared for by. This is human biology. This is why I think left-wing ideology, progressive ideology, is so dangerous, because it fundamentally ignores the very basic nature of human nature. They get human nature so wrong, and that's dangerous.
It is the ideology conversation that we keep having here. It is the ideology conversation that I discuss when discussing Black Lives Matter as an organization versus your neighbor, your friend, you and me, Kira. Kira Davis is black. I am not.
Yes.
But it is critical race theory. It is the idea of devolving people into racial groups so you take away any level of individuality, which is everything we're supposed to be opposed to. And what this story shows, and what I took from it, is there is no depth to which those people who are practitioners of critical race theory will not sink, because, well, this is how you keep, I would argue, in a financial sense, this is how you keep the gravy train flowing.
Of course. I mean, look, my good friend Sunny Johnson, who's got a show on Sirius Radio, she always says, never trust a party that says they're the party of the poor. And that's who the Democrats always say they are, right? We're the party of the poor. Never trust anyone who says we're advocates of the poor, or we're the party of or for, because how do you stay a party of the poor? You have to keep people poor, or else you're out of a job. So it's the same thing with critical race theory and all of this racial training that we're seeing popping up, diversity training. The end goal isn't to make people feel better about themselves and have America come together and sing Kumbaya. That's not what they want. then they're out of a job. We have the same problem here in California, Tony, with the homeless industry. Oh, yes, it's an industry, folks. It's not just people down on their luck on the streets. There are people who make their money, quote, advocating for the homeless, quote, advocating for homeless dollars. And fewer homeless people on the street means less money running through their organizations. So it's a scam. And this whole racist babies thing is a scam. Tony, listen to us. We are grown adults talking on one of the biggest radio shows in Indianapolis, stuck talking about racist babies. How crazy is this?
First, I got to correct you. We are the biggest, and
okay, great.
And soon to be biggest in the Midwest, and then soon the Globe. Talking to Kira Davis, real Kira Davis on Twitter. Find her at Red State and the podcast. Just listen to yourself. While you have a couple of minutes left, it is imperative, I think, within these conversations, and in these conversations about critical race theory and others of you brought them up, there's a big difference between the incorporation that wants to make money off of it and realities of race in America. One should not discount the other, as you and I have discussed many times.
No, one should not discuss the other. And in fact, I think it's really, I know a lot of people will say, well, this is a nuanced subject. Where do we draw the line? I don't think it's that nuanced, Tony. I think we draw the line at when we start making people feel bad for the way they looked when they were born, when we start making people feel like they are less than human based on the way they look, based on their race or religion or ethnicity, there is the line. And that's where critical race theory fails. It fails all of us. It fails the Black community specifically, and I really do intend to talk about this at length on my show. Just listen to yourself. I want to break this down. But the line is where we start identifying our fellow Americans as enemies simply for how they look. And that's where we are right now, and that frightens me. That scares me. I have 2 children. I would die inside if someone told me that they were not allowed to do something or say something because they're Black. That would kill me. Why? And it would kill me if they went into the classroom to learn a lesson about how they are oppressors, how they are evil and racist and have no voice because they're Black. Why would I want someone to do that to a white child? I mean, the whole thing is ridiculous, but it's not too ridiculous for us to push back again. I think this is against, and this is important, Tony. We shouldn't dismiss this as the silliness of the left.
We should not dismiss it. We're going to talk more about it. Just listen to yourself. Check out the podcast wherever fine podcasts are sold. Kira Davis, redstate.com. Always a pleasure. I'm Tony Katz.